Okay, here I am, Jan Hicks of Jan Hicks Creates. Totally different time of day. Back in our own apartment though, with packed and wrapped stuff surrounding me, which is okay. That means we are one step closer to the move. Let's see, it is Sunday, November 11th at 6:13 p.m. Told you it was a totally different time of day for me, and it is 36 degrees out right now, going down to 30 degrees tonight. Get out those electric blankets, right? So let's see, welcome back if you are a regular subscriber to my channel and if you visit with me on a weekly basis. If you are new to my channel, it's looked kind of weird over the past couple weeks. It hasn't looked very much like a cross-stitching channel. To catch you up, my husband and I are moving to Hawaii. He got a posting out there. Anyways, he got a posting out there, and we are going to be moving at the beginning of December. So we are in the process of the pack out. What you saw on my channel the past few weeks is our house hunting trip to Hawaii and which apartment we chose. So that's why it looks a little bit not very cross-stitch related or knitting related or anything like that. So things are just going to be weird for a while, but hopefully we will get more, at least back onto a more craft-oriented trajectory, even if it is weird. So, for those of you that have been with me, traveling with me through the adventure, we are, like I said, back in our apartment. The first pack out happened Friday. Most of our stuff is packed up. The only things that aren't are my desk and computer. I asked them not to pack that up for the weekend so that I have access to it. We have our TV and our TV stand and all the periphery gadgets that go with it. We have our couch, we have our bed. And then of course we have various and sundry kitchen appliances and toiletries and clothes and that kind of thing. So they come for the second day of pack out on Tuesday, which is when they will pack up and wrap all of the rest of the furniture and all of the other big items. And then on Wednesday, they will be here for the loading of the truck and taking everything out. So we will be left with our small kitchen appliances and, you know, dishes and toiletries and clothes and that kind of thing. Everything else will be gone. We have a couple of camp chairs that we will be sitting on and an air mattress that we will be using until the 29th. That's when the rest of our little stuff goes. It's called unaccompanied baggage. And then we will start our drive out to Arizona. Everything is pretty much either taken care of or known. I think in Hawaii we told you that, we did tell you we're going to drive to Arizona, and we're still going to do that. Instead of flying American Airlines, we're going to book our own trip out on Hawaiian Airlines because we found that we can check the cats in at the check-in counter, like checked baggage, excess baggage. So at least we have control of them up until that point. We still have one big question mark, and that is the size of the crate or not. So we have to talk to somebody about that. But that being said, everything else is a go. So with that, that's where we are right now. Let's talk stitching and knitting. So if you are on the Friday Off the Grid Facebook group, you saw a project that I posted there. I posted the past couple nights. It is a gift for my friend here in the apartment. And so I'm not going to show it. I'm not sure if she watches these or not. I'm definitely not going to show it though. I do have a bit of a conundrum in that obviously I want to have this done and framed for her before we go, but my ironing board is in a box there. The iron is actually in this box here. I could take the boxes apart because I'm probably going to be finished stitching that tonight. So I may just just rip the boxes apart and use those. Actually, I don't even have to unpack the ironing board. I could just put towels on the kitchen sink or on the counter. So anyways, I was thinking, I got a great suggestion from Debbie Brandenburg on Friday Off the Grid to just call the stitching post, my L&S, and see if they have an iron there that I could use. But I think I might just raid this box instead. I'll let you know how that goes. I don't know where my best press is though, but we'll figure that out. So, other stitching. Besides that, I've been working on what will be a gift from my son for Christmas. This is a pattern by a Russian designer named Elisa Oknius. It is called Mushrooms Botanica, and this is it here. She has a lot of these designs that are these circular things with really great colors, so I actually have several of her designs. But this one is for my son, and I'm using this dark blue fabric. As you can see, I have most of that center mushroom done. This is a 32 count, I think it's, or is it 28? My little tag's still here, so I can tell you that. It's a 28 count. So that is that. Now with this, I was, I guess just stressed, kind of scattered as we were getting ready to head to Hawaii. And I thought I had, but I did not actually pull out all of the floss colors that I need for this pattern. And I found that out when I was in Hawaii stitching on it because I couldn't find the one color I needed. And then the next one I couldn't find either. There were several that I couldn't find. And I thought I had even, I'd gone to the stitching post and got the ones that I didn't own, and I still don't, I'm still, it's a mess. My floss, I don't know where it is. It's in a bin here someplace. It's somewhere. So I may just work on that as much as I can, and the colors that I'm missing will have to get filled in after our household goods make it to Hawaii. I'm not gonna fuss about having it done for Christmas too much because there's too many other things to fuss about. So that is pretty much all of the stitching I've been doing over the past couple weeks. I did have a finish though. I forgot about that. So on the flight out to Hawaii, so for you, those of you who remember, I did get another box from my friend CJ that I opened and I recorded before we left. And this is one of the patterns. This is actually a limited edition kit. It says White Flip Flop Limited Edition Kit. So it had the fabric in it and it had the floss. This fabric, it doesn't say on the pattern in here exactly what size this fabric is, but it's like a, I don't know, a 10, 11. It's big. It calls for 4 strands of floss over 2 threads of the linen, so it's a big count. I didn't want it that big. That's just too big for my taste. So I measured and cut down the linen a bit, and I did 1 over 1. So this I started once we hit altitude coming out of Baltimore, and I finished before we landed in Hawaii. And that was with a 1-hour layover in Phoenix on the way out, but I didn't do any stitching in the airport because we were getting food. And let me just tell you, this is a bunny trail, a non-stitchy related bunny trail. One of my biggest disappointments and biggest frustrations with Hawaii is the lack of understanding and lack of knowledge that I found about gluten-free, gluten-intolerant celiac issues. Now granted, they have a huge Japanese population there, a huge Japanese tourist population. And I suppose gluten may not be an issue in Japan just because their diet probably doesn't include as many wheat products. The main places that I found that had gluten-free options on their menus were the big chains like Chili's, Ruby Tuesdays. Those were fine. We like to eat at more mom and pop stuff. There were some great shrimp trucks, of course, just all kinds of little, actually like food truck type setups within Waikiki, and we love that kind of stuff. But I really had to be careful, and I really had to grill the people serving and the cooks to find out exactly what was in things, and because they have no understanding of what gluten really is, and even what kind of things use gluten. So that was very disappointing. Now we did find, of course, there's Whole Foods on Oahu, and there is an organic store called Down to Earth, which does have a great great gluten-free selection. So, you know, we'll be fine once we start living there. The flight back, American Airlines, both flights, both legs, 5-hour layover in Dallas. There was nothing for me to eat on either plane. We had taken some snacks. At the layover in Dallas, the food offerings, you know, within security, there was nothing, you know, unless I want to get a hamburger and not have the bun. That's kind of what I'm limited to. Even on the plane, on the way out, I was able to get their chicken pesto wrap and just take the wrap off, and the innards of it was fine. Coming back, they had blue cheese on one of them. Blue cheese is not gluten-free. The blue part of the blue cheese is actually grown on a wheat substrate. The other one was a vegetarian wrap that, again, I have to take the wrap off, and it just, yeah, so that was a long, not good flight back. We'll get that all straightened out. So anyways, that was all my stitching. My knitting, I was working on the Magmatic Scarf by Laura Nelkin. And I had shown this, the ball that I'd wound, and I'd gotten started on this. Oh, this is one of my WIPS from many moons ago. So I worked on that quite a bit in the flights because it's just so much easier for me to pull out knitting and work on that than all the little bits and pieces that go along with stitching. So here's where I am on this. And as I mentioned before in one of my previous videos, the yarn ball is actually made of a bunch of mini skeins that are knotted together with a knot called the magic knot, which is what you use to connect your yarns, and that knot doesn't come apart. So that was one of the techniques we learned for this particular pattern. So as you can see, I'm making my way through the different colors. There's a row coming up here. I think I have a couple more rows to do of the pattern. And then there's a row that's supposed to have beads. I totally didn't think about getting beads out before the packers started. So my beads are now packed away somewhere as well. And I'm not going to worry about it. This scarf will not have beads, and that's okay. Now I did want to point out that there's actually a twist. And if you are a knitter and are familiar with knitting in the round, you know that designers emphasize when you're joining in the round that you do not, or you be very careful not to let the knitting twist, because then you have a twist and it becomes basically a Mobius. It's okay with this one because this is actually going to be a scarf. And what we're going to do, you can see there's a section of plain knitting here. And for my friends that aren't knitters, you know, you might find this interesting even if you aren't a knitter. So what we're going to be doing here is cutting up the center of this knitting right here. That is called steeking. Usually Steeks are done when you're knitting Fair Isle. When you're knitting Fair Isle, you're usually always knitting in the round because Fair Isle is done in the round. But what if you want a cardigan, right? That's fine if you want a pullover, but what if you want a cardigan? If you want a cardigan, you have a section like this of plain knitting that you cut. And now traditional Fair Isle, usually you would sew down where you want the stitches to stop unraveling, because once you cut this, these stitches are going to unravel. So usually you do a sewing stitch either by hand or with a machine down the edges here to stop the unraveling. What Laura has incorporated into this pattern is actually a twisted stitch. The first, you can see I have a marker here and a marker here. The first stitch after the marker here, the last stitch before the marker here is a knit into the back loop, and that twists the stitch, and that will prevent those stitches from unraveling. So then this will all become fringe. So, and it doesn't matter about the twist because it becomes untwisted then once you've cut it. So anyways, that's what I spent quite a bit of time on. There's 600 and some stitches on this, so each, on the needle, so each row takes a chunk of time. So that's current work. Plans, I will be working on Harbor Haven. Harbor Haven section 12 did come in today. I don't have section 11 done yet. Like I said, I hope to get the gift for my friend done stitching today. So after that's done, then I will be picking Harbor Haven back up. And I hope to get that done actually before we head to Phoenix. Totally done, which is just an amazing thing to say. I don't have it here to show you guys because nothing has changed from the last time you saw it. I am going to be starting a new knitting project. My friend Kat finished a new pattern. This is a tee, again, you can see, called Palmer. She actually used 2 Shibui yarns held together, and I don't remember what the yarns were. Seema and Twig, maybe. There's actually 2 different ones in the middle panel here where the lace is, as opposed to there's like Twig, I think, is throughout the both, and then maybe Seema in here and Lunar. I'm not sure. So I'm using a yarn by Queensland called Llama Soft Cotton, and it does have both llama. It's 80% cotton, 20% baby llama. So it's soft. Doesn't have a whole lot of spring, but it'll make a nice little cotton tee for Hawaii. And it's a nice loose piece, so it's going to get a lot of air. I did the swatch on this. The gauge swatch, I'm going to have to go up a needle size, which is very unusual for me and Kat because we usually use the same needle. But she used a totally different yarn than I did, so not necessarily a surprise, really. All right, so that I'm going to start, I don't know, I'd like to get this scarf done before I start it, so we'll see. Seems to me I finished something else with knitting. No, I'm still working on the caramelized cowl. I just didn't take that with me. All right, so I did get a few things. I wanted to pull out, somebody had asked me at some point, I don't know whether it was in a comment on one of my videos or on Instagram, but somebody asked me about the bags I use for my floss and where to get them. These are called thread tucks, and these are available at 123 Stitch. They're like, I think $6.99 or $7.99 for 200 bags. So I like these a lot. I find the floss away bags are a little bit big. I think these are more useful, a better size, and I can fit quite a few skeins. I don't know whether I have any in here that are stuffed full. But this one you can see has 3 skeins of floss. One of them is all bent over. I think I have some skeins. This one has 3 skeins. I think I have some bags that have 7 or 8 skeins in them. So they hold quite a bit. There's holes on both the bottom and the top, and then another hole here so I can pull the floss out. So you can see I have them hanging from my little ring through the bottom hole. I can open the bag if I need, when I need to stick my extra, you know, unused floss back in, and I can just pull out a length here when I need to cut more off. So I find these very handy. Like I said, thread tucks at 1, 2, 3 stitch. They come in different colors. You can see that one has a kind of pinkish label. This one has a purple. The new ones I got have apricot. I think their original intention was to use like different colors for different companies of floss. I don't worry about that. So, I got this when I ordered the thread tucks. This is the first house in Country Cottage Needleworks Glitter Village. And these ones I am going to get all of. I'm sure like most of you, we did have those little glitter villages, right? The different colored cottages around the Christmas tree when you were a kid. So I saw those and knew immediately that I had to get those. I got a couple of patterns from the Stitching Post. Ordered these a while ago and they came in before we left. So Begin Row, this is by Bent Creek. This is one I've wanted for a while, and it actually took quite a while to come in out there. It says a journey of 1,000 miles must begin with a single step. And as much as Mike and I like to travel, I knew I had to have this one. And this one eventually will hang in the RV somewhere on our not very many walls. The new apartment has so many walls, I can't wait to start hanging stuff. I'm gonna get used to that, and then I'm gonna have to go to an RV. That's going to be tough. I also ordered, let's see, 3 and 4 from the Country Garden Songbird series. The first couple are okay. I didn't feel I really needed to have them, but I love this one. I love the colors on that. I love those pine cones. I think those are gorgeous. And the key, I think that key is really pretty. So I wanted to get that one. And then this one came out just like whenever I was up there to pick up, those other things with the robin and the tulips. And of course I love spring. So the word hope is great for spring. I love the detail on the robin's chest. And of course the colors are great on this. So that's that. Now I also visited the cross-stitch store in Honolulu. Many of you I know have watched the video that I did. I met up with Christina Simpson, Cross Stitcher in Paradise, one of our other floss tubers on here. She lives in Honolulu, and so we met up there and met and chatted, and we did a little tour. It's not a very long video. The store is not big, but I think it's not big, so they have their patterns kind of stacked in boxes that you have to page through. And I didn't take a whole lot of time to page through, but when I did, I found I think I found some Blackbird design patterns that are out of print. Now, most of the ones that I saw, I didn't really care for. I like a lot of Blackbird designs, but some of the older ones I didn't really care for, so I didn't get them. But I did get Winter. Now this is the one that's the series, and actually it's not all 4 seasons, which I think is a little strange. It's spring, summer, and autumn. No, it's summer, autumn, and winter, I think. Autumn, winter, spring? I don't know. She only had this one. That means, and this is part 3 of 3, so this is the winter one. So that means that I am going to be on the lookout for the other 2 of these, because I do love this one. Doesn't mean I couldn't do that as a standalone piece, but and that is this one here. But I've always loved this piece when I've seen it completed. So I will be on the lookout. I guess I now have a unicorn, huh? Didn't have a unicorn before. I also really like this one. This is from Homespun Elegance, and there were a lot of these ones there too. I love that one. Sweet Land of Liberty. Is that what it's called? Freedom House button sampler. Right at the top. It's late. I'm totally off my game here. It feels weird to be filming at night. I don't know whether you can tell that I'm just not comfortable. But anyways, I was pleased with her selection. I expect I will go back and rifle through those bins a bit more to see what all she had. She does have a Rosewood Manor trunk show there right now, so I love seeing, I love Rosewood Manor, so it was cool to see all those patterns. So yeah, I mean, it's not huge, but I think, and she can order stuff, so I think it will work out. Oh, and I got their newsletter today, and they actually have stitch-ins quite frequently, so I'm looking forward to meeting up with people and getting to know the stitchers on the island. All right, so what else do we have? We have a couple other things. I actually, amazingly enough, I never win anything. I've won a few of the chart giveaways from, different people, but I don't usually win stuff. On Instagram, XG Designs did a giveaway, a $25 gift certificate to her Etsy store, and she gave away 3, and I won one of them. And so I don't know whether in this light you're going to be able to see the true color at all, but I will show you. This is, so she had a new color called Ash Rose. That's not it. It is this one. It's a really pretty pinky with gray. You can kind of see that with gray variegation modeling in it. So I got a 13 by 19 cut of that. And then this other one is Coffee Mix. And so it's kind of got some pink hues to it too. It's a little bit browner. Some nice modeling in this as well. So the reason I kind of focused on these is I've mentioned before that I'm going to be doing the Sampler Cove Grace Quaker sampler, a stitch along with Tamara Bowen, Miss Nana Stitches, and Andy Nana's Needles. And I had originally thought that I was going to use this piece of Maritime White that I got at Keepsakes. And I've actually picked out my fibers for that, my flosses. So I'm going to, most of these are the grays, Victorian Motto grays that came in that one gray set that she did. And then I'm going to have some pops of red. And while it's okay on this fabric, I thought I'd wait and see what it looks like on the Ash Rose and the Coffee Mix. And again, this light is so crappy, I don't know whether you're going to really be able to see. But so that's the Ash Rose. And I think that's the one I prefer. I think the Coffee Mix is a little bit brown. I think the way the Ash Rose has the tints of gray is what really makes it work. So, and let's see if I can hold this up. You can kind of see how much browner the Coffee Mix is. Like I said, this light sucks, but it's richer than what you're seeing. But, so that's the plan for that. And I did keep this with me because we are starting that December 1st, I believe. Now, the other thing that I won is one of Michelle Bendy Stitchy's pattern giveaways. And I found out about this while I was in Hawaii. So this is a pretty little Quaker piece. The Elizabeth Robinson sampler from 1811. I love me a Quaker, which is good because I have a lot of them to do. So this one actually came with the fabric and the flosses. Aren't those pretty? Are those my colors or are those my colors? I think that says beach. Love it, love it, love it. So that is all of that. I also got the chance to meet up with Pam PJ Stitcher. She lives up in, I believe she's still in Howard County. She's closer to Frederick, Maryland. So it's a bit of a drive for her, but she did come down to the stitching post to meet me. There was a pattern, which I don't know where it went to. Sorry, Pam, it's here somewhere. My life is chaos right now. But anyway, she gave me this great little bag. Let the adventure begin, right? Some scissors, a little, one of these kind of lipstick case looking needle holders. Oops, like that. Isn't that pretty? And then what I think is really nice, not that all that isn't nice, but this homemade card. Look how pretty that is. Stamped and colored. Love that. I used to do that kind of stuff, so I really like that kind of thing. All right, so the only other thing I have for you guys today is some giveaways. So as I was sorting through, deciding what was getting packed, what wasn't, I came across the kits. I had mentioned in a video before we left that I was going to gather up all the different Aida from all the different kits that I won't use because I'll switch out the Aida for some other fabric. And so I want to give that away. I have two. So these are cream, smaller pieces. I believe this is all 14 count Aida, but don't hold me to that. I didn't write it down, but most of the kits are 14 count Aida. So two, and these all came from like Dimensions kit. One of them is a Riolis kit. I've showed them to you. The black is from the Riolis kit. Again, this is a 14 count and it's a fairly big piece of black Aida. And then last but not least is, this might actually be smaller. This might be 18, a fairly good size piece. Oh, look, there's a, can you see that? There's a needle in it. I'm actually gonna move that so it's more on the edge so it doesn't accidentally stain. So anyways, you guys had mentioned that if I ever decided to give away the Aida, you would be interested. So I am giving it away. If you would like to have this Aida, put in the comments, I would like the Aida. And I will do a drawing for that. The other things I found, excuse me, that one fell, are just some little charts that I had torn out of magazines. And I was probably going to give them away at some point and never got around to it. It fell again, excuse me. Okay, so the first one is for Thanksgiving. So it says, we lift up our hearts in Thanksgiving. And this is by Heart and Hand, Cecilia Turner. And it is from Just Cross Stitch, December 1999. So if you would like that, say, I'd like to stitch Thanksgiving. And last but not least, hey diddle diddle, we have the cat jumping over the pumpkin. So maybe a little bit late for Halloween, but that's okay. Let's see who this is by. I don't have my glasses on, so excuse the squinting. Designed by Sally A. Farrington of Out on the Porch. This is from Just Cross Stitch, October 2003. So, if you would like to stitch that one, say, hey diddle diddle, and I will hook you up. So I'll be doing drawing for all of those. I'll do probably get a video out at my normal time again next week. Not this coming Tuesday, but the following Tuesday. So you have about a week, over a week. I'll be getting this video up Monday, hopefully. I have to get it up Monday because on Tuesday my computer will be getting packed out. So after my computer's gone, I will only have my phone and my iPad. And my iPad is what I'll be using to edit. And my iPad, iMovie on my iPad only allows me to do 15-minute and shorter videos. So my videos will be much shorter. I might be doing a segment on knitting, a segment on stitching, a segment on what I got, although I don't really expect to be getting that much between now and when we get to Hawaii. I may do a segment on all the stuff that I saved to not get shipped. I don't know. I did do a little video yesterday on, I decided to organize my PDFs in Dropbox because I'm getting like so many of them, it's hard to get through all of them. So I did do a little video on showing you how to organize your PDFs in Dropbox. So, and I will probably get that up here in the next few days. Get it edited tomorrow. So anyways, that is all that I have for you today. If I've forgotten anything, too bad, but I don't think I have. There really wasn't a whole lot going on, at least not with all this stuff. Life is going to be crazy this week. At the end of the week, I expect we're going to be taking our Jeep to the dock to get that shipped, so then we won't have a vehicle either. So yeah. The clock is ticking. Mike tells me in days how many days we have left, and I kind of freak out, so I've stopped counting. I will keep you posted on everything, and before you know it, I'll be showing you stuff from Hawaii. Until next time, I hope you have a great evening, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.